In today's news, we see the Cabinet of the Virgin Islands reducing the crowd limit to 75 following the BVI confirmed cases rising to 13. We also see the international ferry schedule being released from the BVI Port Authority in acknowledgement of that one trip daily, and we see ticket costs increases as well. The BVI is also looking forward to updates from the Premier next week as he promises to look into the BVI Port Authority's increased fees amidst public backlash. And the BVI National Football team loses to St. Vincent in the qualifying World Cup match. All that and so much more on today's edition of 284 News. Hello viewers, my name is Javon Wilson, welcoming you to today's edition of 284 News. It is April 1st. We're heading into the second quarter of 2021 and we're so happy to welcome you coming live from 284 Media. My name is Javon Wilson once again. Now, topping our headlines, we see the territory's confirmed COVID-19 cases now rising to 13. And Minister of Health, Honorable Carvin Malone, has since said that his government is being strongly advised to cancel the group as well as crowd gatherings for the upcoming Easter weekend to prevent community transmission of the virus. However, just today, we see the official cabinet decisions that was, of course, reflected in the Gazette, now saying that those crowd limits have been reduced to 75 persons. Now, that Gazette dated March 31st stated, and I quote, "All gatherings shall be limited to one person per 64 square feet and shall not exceed 75 persons at any given time." And in the case of vulnerable persons, the gathering shall be limited to no more than 5 persons as certified by the Chief Environmental Officer. Subsection 2.1 also says, this will not apply to the following gatherings, which shall be limited to one person per 64 feet and shall not exceed 100 persons. And those include the faith-based services, a graduation ceremony, a wedding ceremony, and a funeral. Now, the Gazette went on to say whether organizers of an event, outdoor event, anticipate the event will exceed a gathering of 75 persons, he or she shall make a written request to the minister seeking permission to hold the event. Now, viewers, the health minister has also reiterated the need for mass testing to continue. He said, and I quote, "The number of active positive cases is now reported at 13, and this figure continues to slowly climb as the hardworking public health team conduct their contact tracing exercises. While no drastic actions are required at this time, it is prudent to allow the mass testings scheduled for the 6th through the 8th of April to be completed and avoid any inadvertent spread of the virus," end of quote. Now, viewers, on Sunday, March 28, the health officials from the Ministry of Health in the British Virgin Islands issued a statement informing the public that persons who attended a local funeral service on Saturday, March 27th, should isolate and get tested. The statement read, and I quote, "The Ministry of Health is notifying the public that a person who tested positive for COVID-19 attended a funeral held on Saturday, March 27th at the Seacoast Bay Methodist Church. All persons who attended the funeral should isolate for 10 days or contact the public health unit Monday, March 29th, between the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. to schedule a test. There is no payment associated with the testing. Now, once prompted by the media, health officials have since come forward and stated that an error was made in the issuing of a quarantine clearance letter to the visitor on March 25th after conducting a test the day before on March 24th. They clarified that the document was quickly retracted and that the individual was made aware of their positive status and instructed to remain in quarantine. Now, the visitor then requested confirmation testing and received 2 additional positive tests on Friday, as of Friday, March 26, which was actually 1 day prior to the funeral. However, he was determined to attend the funeral service, and officials say went against their orders and attended the funeral despite instructions. As a result, the territory now has 13 confirmed cases of COVID-19 after weeks of being inactive. Now, as we move on, the British Virgin Islands Port Authority is informing the public of their new international ferry passenger schedule at the Rotown Jetty, and that the seaport option will now go through the BVI Gateway website, which is the bvigateway.bviaa.com. That is going to be on April 8, 2021. Now, there will be a 1 daily round-trip ferry service for this initial period. Ferry passengers arriving and departing the British Virgin Islands must receive and reserve, a ticket with the scheduled ferry operator through their booking portal. The international ferry passenger schedule is as follows. All ferries will depart Rotown Tortola for Charlotte Amari St. Thomas at 10 a.m. and all ferries will depart Charlotte Amali St. Thomas for Rotown Tortola at 4 p.m. daily. Now, on Tuesdays, the Rotown Fast Ferry will be utilized, and again, you are encouraged to book via their website, rotownfastferry.com. On Wednesday, Native Sons Ferry will be utilized at nativesunferry.com for your tickets. On Thursday, we will be using the Smith's Ferry service, and their website is smithsferry.com. On Friday, Native Sun Ferry, and of course you can access them via nativesunferry.com. On Saturday, Rotown Fast Ferry via their website, rotownfastferry.com. And on Sundays, the ferries will alternate. Now, viewers, those are updates coming out from the BVI Port Authority. The one thing we recognize is that there is 1 ferry scheduled per day, which will allow up to a maximum of 50 persons. Now, members of the electorate are now questioning how much further ahead will that put us, considering that the airport now only accommodates just about 100, and the tourism industry is looking forward to this much needed reopening to see increased numbers, but at a cap of 50 persons are not exactly sure how much that will increase. We also see one of the ferry services increasing their ticket costs to $100 one way. So that is a drastic increase that also has members of the BVI residents very concerned, especially amidst all the financial constraints we are currently facing as a result of COVID-19. Now, viewers, still ahead of the break, we are all quite aware of the backlash that has followed the BVI Port Authority's decision to drastically increase fees. The Premier is now promising to look into it and provide an update as early as next week. And also, all arriving passengers are now required to foot their own bill for transportation. All that and so much more when 284 News returns.
The win.
What are the hell?
I'm freaking out.
Is about these people.
It's always a pleasure coming to you live and direct from the
What's poppin', what's really good?
Davis has won it for the Lakers.
Gentlemen, Inspiring Gentlemen, and our partners that hold us down. It's season 2 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, taking you on the most inspiring journey with the best and brightest distinguished gentlemen of the BVI. Raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men like you've never seen them before. Governor Augustus J.U. Jaspert, Jovan Klein, Neil Klein, and so much more. Turning modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen with yours truly, Ron Grant, a 284 Media production.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now on we go with local headlines. Now, Premier of the Virgin Islands and Minister for Finance, Honorable Andrew A. Foy, has promised a more peaceful resolve regarding the recent exorbitant increase in fees announced by the BVI Port Authority. Now, Honorable Foy's WhatsApp blast stated, and I quote, "Your government has and will always be about solutions in the best interest of the people of the Virgin Islands, and it will not change, especially dealing with this BVI Port Authority fees issue. Please be advised that plenty consultation with many stakeholders and the government are ongoing behind the scenes. As a result, a more amicable way forward will be announced next week, so stay tuned. I really thank everyone who has and continue to express genuine concerns. Your concerns are our concerns. We are in this together with BVI Love," the Premier later stated, end of quote. Now, viewers, the fee adjustments, which were initially announced in January, came into effect on March 1st, resulting in increases of up to 400%. Now, this was met with territory-wide public outcry, as many businesses are facing financial constraints and struggling to stay open in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, also adding to the conversation are consumers who are fearful of how this will affect the cost of living in an economy where inflation is at an all-time high. One resident said, and I quote, "We elect government officials to look out for our best interests, but right now I am afraid that I don't feel the people of the BVI are being considered. Yes, money is scarce, and I am sure that our government is seeing huge deficits due to the lack of tourism revenue. They must, however, put the interest of the people first. Capital projects are great, and they are monuments politicians can point to and feel proud of their accomplishments. But when your people are looking at their income and trying to figure out which bills go unpaid this month so that they can buy some corned beef and tuna fish to feed their children, you have a problem," the resident continued, and I continue to quote, "People in these islands are suffering. We love this country, but pretty soon only millionaires will be able to live here. Your people cannot take it anymore. $6 an hour just is not making it when employers are beating the system by only hiring people to work part-time so that they don't have to give them any benefits," end of quote. Now, viewers, the acting managing director of the BVI Ports Authority, Ms. Olivine Maynard, has since said that the increases were necessary for the BVI Ports to upgrade its facility to international standards. She said, and I quote, "Security has to be up, cameras have to be up, and we have to do a lot of upgrades. Nothing has been done at the BVI Ports Authority for quite a while, and with the audit coming, we found ourselves scrambling in the midst of COVID-19 to get all of these upgrades done. Where is the money coming from? We cannot close down. How would you get your food?" End of quote. That's what Ms. Maynard stated in a recent interview in her efforts to justify the port's newest decisions. However, we do see this being proceeded, followed rather by further public backlash, as one resident posted to social media, and I quote once again, "BVI Port Authority purchased a piece of land in Virgin Gorda some time ago. For expansion, we forget so easily. We were upset because it was an unnecessary buy at this time. A $2 million piece of land, $1.5 million has been paid, and the final $500,000 has to be paid today, which was dated March 31st. Yet, here the BVI Port Authority is trying to convince us that they are hiking up fees because they need money. They don't want to lay off their staff, and they need to be up to date intentionally." That was the end of that quote. Now, viewers, many residents are fearful of far-reaching implications and how this will affect business, which can further plummet the economy in light of tourism, which is a key contributor, being brought to a halt as a result of COVID-19. Now, increased importation fees will also mean increases in the cost of goods and services. And according to the experts, gas prices are projected to rise to a whopping $5 per gallon within the next few days. Now, in light of the Premier's new stance, the public is hoping that the BVI Ports Authority will revise its recent decisions. Next week, we sit down with the acting managing director, viewers, Ms. Olivine Maynard and her team at the BVI Port Authority right here at 284 Media Tuesday at 11:30 a.m. sharp. We want to really dive into that discussion. I know they were scheduled to make an appearance today. However, they were forced to postpone due to unforeseen circumstances. However, we are encouraging you to join us on Tuesday, again, 11:30 a.m., to join in on the conversation as we figure out a way forward in this debacle. As we move on, since the British Virgin Islands reopened for tourism on December 1st, 2020, the government of the Virgin Islands has paid the cost of the Gold Seal certified ground and marine transportation for all arrivals to their Gold Seal approved accommodations on day 0, as well as the round trip transfers between their accommodations and the designated testing sites on day 4 under the BVI Covid-19 protocols. On day 4. Now, under the BVI COVID-19's protocols, the Taxi and Livery Commission coordinated this transportation utilizing only Gold Seal certified vehicles and vessels. Transportation is not covered in the travel authorization fee paid by each passenger arriving in the territory to the BVI Gateway Portal authorization to enter the territory. That $175 travel authorization fee charged on the portal covers 1. There are 2 PCR tests, which are priced at $70 each, and the fee for tracking devices, which is $35. Now, the Taxi and Livery Commission will continue to coordinate both ground and marine transportation in an effort to ensure health and safety standards are maintained. However, there are some changes. All passengers arriving in the BVI are now required to pay the cost of their ground transportation during quarantine from day 0 to day 4, effective Thursday, March 25th, 2021. Ground transportation costs will be calculated based on the official taxi tariff. Passengers can expect to pay between $5 and $30 per person, depending on the transportation and where they're going, that is their destination, and the number of passengers traveling. Passengers are also expected to pay their driver directly in cash. Now, as it relates to the marine transportation, we see all arriving passengers that depend on the established marine transportation from Tortola to other islands in the BVI. They will now have to cover the costs of that marine transportation from Saturday, the 24th of April, 2021. Now, commenting on the change in how transportation costs are covered was the Director of Tourism, Mr. Clive McCoy, who stated, and I quote, "During the next 24 days, the BVI Tourist Board and Film Commission will carry out consultation with the tourism stakeholders, the Taxi and Livery Commission, and the government to determine the best solution for covering the marine transportation costs after the 23rd of April. We want to urgently address the marine transportation because the cost can be quite significant for persons traveling from Tortola to any other of the other islands during this pandemic. Additionally, it should be noted that all protocols and procedures for transportation remain the same. The Taxi and Livery Commission will assign the approved ground and marine transportation. Hence, travelers will not be allowed to make their own arrangements. So we do see some level of structure being maintained as the Taxi and Livery Commission continues to ensure that they provide the transportation. However, that cost for both marine and land transportation is now required to be paid by the incoming traveler. Viewers, ahead of the break, we are talking about the BVI's National Football team, which actually made a loss to St. Vincent in the qualifying football match for the World Cup event. And we also see employers being reminded by the Labor Department of the holiday payment guidelines for the long awaited weekend ahead. All that and so much more after this commercial break. Stick with us.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, we know it's about to be a super long holiday weekend, and so the territory's employers are being notified that essential employees who have been assigned to work during the upcoming Good Friday and Easter Monday holidays are to be paid in accordance with sections 53 as well as 54 of the Labor Code. Now, Section 53 of the Labor Code states, and I quote, "Where an employee does not work for his or her employer on a public holiday, he or she shall not suffer loss of pay. That is to say, he or she shall be paid the basic wage he or she would have received for the work performed on that day had it not been a public holiday, provided that 1. He or she worked on his or her scheduled workday immediately before and his or her scheduled workday immediately after the public holiday, and 2. The public holiday was not one of his or her scheduled workdays." Now, Section 1 goes on to state that where an employer causes the employee to work on a public holiday, the employer shall pay to the employee, in addition to the basic wage, the employee is entitled by virtue of the Section 53, a basic hourly rate of at least 1.5 times his or her basic wage for each hour worked on that day. The Department of Labor and Workforce Development, of course, continues to promote good labor and management practices at workplaces to ensure stable and harmonious labor relations between employers as well as employees, and to protect the rights, wages, working conditions, safety, health, and welfare of workers through enforcement of the British Virgin Islands labor laws. Now, employees, again, you are duly reminded, and employees, this is, of course, something for you to take note of as well. And this is also imperative. It is also imperative, that we continue to review the labor code to ensure that we are au fait with our rights as it relates to working here in the Virgin Islands. Now, viewers, as we move on, some sad news for our BVI national team, but we are still rooting for them. Now, neither of the two results in the CONCACAF qualifying games for the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 went according to plan, but the Football Association has come away with many positives. Now, in the first game, we saw a 0-3 defeat to the Professionals of Guatemala, and that had seen a youthful and inexperienced BVI put up a really marvelous battle to thwart their vastly more experienced opponents, and there was certainly no disgrace in the final scoreline. Now, on Tuesday, March 30th, after just 2 days of rest, the BVI returned to the stadium in Curacao to face St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who had doubled the rest time and showed their strength and power in racing into a 2-goal lead inside the first 25 minutes through the Olex Anderson and Zidane Sam, albeit with the benefit of a slow start and mistake-prone effort from the BVI. We also saw ringing in the changes and given first Luca reach a debut, linking up with Tyler Forbes and Luca Chilwell in the fresh and energetic striking combination. The BVI took the game to the Vinci Heat and, of course, had them on the back foot of much of the rest of the game. We also saw Carlos Septus, Josh Bertie, Tosh Gilmore, Jamie Wilson, Miguel Marshall put their heart and soul on the line to to score a goal that would then set the hearts racing. But it was Vinci who stayed firm and, of course, scored a decisive third late on against the run of play through their very own Mr. Solomon. Now, senior team debuts were handed to Justin Smith as well as Ikaya Williams, with both settling into defensive roles with maturity, pace, and determination, meaning that the future will definitely be a lot brighter for the past than the past for the BVI. Now, for the record, the average age of the team at the final whistle was 19, with less than 100 caps between them, which, if the Football Association's development path continues at the same pace, then the rest of the Caribbean had better watch out for the next decade. Now, Dan of the Football Association said, and I quote, "I was very pleased to get on with Reach." He said, the team had a couple good touches and was very happy with their performances, if not the overall results. And switching it up at halftime with all the youths, they played on, they brought desire and passion and played like they really wanted to work on a result and pushed them all the way. Now, again, the interim lead coach, Dan, went on to say, "The first half was very disappointing and we were very lethargic, but the changes at that time with the young players coming up made a huge difference and gave us some fresh inputs. We used to struggle off the bench, but now we have real game changers waiting for their opportunity." End of quote. Now, viewers, the BVI is effectively out of the running for the progression as it relates to the qualifying tournament, but they still have games to play against Cuba and Curacao at the end of May and early June, both of whom will provide stern tests for the team, but definitely something to look ahead as it relates to the CONCACAF Nations League later down in September. Even though it's a loss and we may not have qualified for that World Cup game in 2022, we want to congratulate our team for always repping the BVI flag high, putting their best foot forward, and encourage them going forward in their games to come, but extensively all the best as they go forward. Viewers, that is all the time we have for today, but I want to encourage you to visit us via our website, that is 284media.com. You can also like us on Facebook at 284media and 284BVI, on Instagram as well as Twitter. My name is Javon Wilson. It has been my pleasure, and I want to encourage you to join us again on Tuesday, not Monday, but on Tuesday. Same time, same place, where we deliver your doses of local, regional, as well as international content right here on 284 News, your source for honest and impartial news right here on 284 Media. It's a long weekend. I'm encouraging you to enjoy it. Be safe. If you are going to be out and about, of course, remember to wear your mask, sanitize. But until then, have a beautiful weekend. Take care.
Father Jesus, that line you long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny Boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny Boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man, protect you.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join a prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power? The win.
What the hell?
I'm freaking out.
Is about these people.
It's always a pleasure coming to you live and direct from the
What's poppin'? What's really good?
David!